A simple life, guarded by an air rifle. In the blink of an eye, Li Bin memorized all the hooded figures and their positions. He shielded Li Changzhen behind him. Having been at sea for 8 years, while his younger brother grew up in the factory district learning nothing useful. Though physically mature, his brother's mind was definitely not sharp. "Brother, I can fight," Li Changzhen said anxiously. Li Bin put his hand on his face and pushed away his brother, who was eager to protect him. "Nonsense. Kids stay out of adult matters." Sailors' salaries and status were higher than most workers. Li Bin, a transmigrator, had shown signs of precociousness since childhood. Li Changzhen had always been taught by his sister to learn from his older brother. Obedient and docile, he idolized Li Bin. Li Changzhen already felt guilty for revealing Li Bin's sailor identity, attracting the thugs. Now, seeing his brother protectively shielding him, ready to defend him to the death, he felt moved but even more nervous. If his brother got hurt, not only would he feel terrible, but his sister would also skin him alive. "Shut up." Seeing Li Changzhen still trying to protect him, Li Bin became stern. Hearing this tone, so similar to his sister's, Li Changzhen instinctively straightened up, lowered his head, and fell silent, years of fear ingrained in him. The hooded thugs approached. Before they could speak, Li Bin raised his hand. "I'm from the industrial district too. We're all locals. Let's talk. I have a few conditions. If they don't work, then we can fight." "I'm from the industrial district too. We're all locals. Let's talk. I have a few conditions. If they don't work, then we can fight. If they don't work, then we can fight." The lead thug hesitated, then nodded. "Go ahead." Li Bin said, "You heard I'm a sailor and figured you could extort some money, right? Beg if you can't extort, rob if you can't beg?" Through strategic negotiation and fierce combat, he asserts dominance, ultimately choosing mercy and a lesson in kindness towards the misguided youth. His tactics exposed, the thug leader wasn't angered, just nodded. "Yeah, so are you lending or not?" "Not so fast. There's more to it than that. In this world, it's about power and connections. I'm the ship's officer of the For the People fleet under the Minsheng Transportation Company. A proper company employee. I live in the Hydrangea Hotel. Heard of it?" Li Bin pulled a room key, printed with vibrant hydrangea patterns, from his pocket, flashing it. He unhesitatingly used his company's name. Even though he was fired, how would these street thugs know? They'd never left the industrial district. Besides, the key was real, a proper hotel in the commercial district. Paid for with star coins. "Yes, I have money, but can you handle the consequences? What's your backing?" The thugs murmured amongst themselves, clearly intimidated by the mention of star coins in the hotel. They, and even their parents, only used local currency. Star coins were something they only heard of. The thug leader sniffed, trying to sound tough. "We work for Boss Press Machine, he's..." Before he could finish, Li Bin interrupted impatiently. "Never heard of him. Don't compare street punks to a company. Give me something heavyweight. Anyone got a factory owner backing them? No? A foreman? Security team? Press machine? What kind of gangster name was that? Sounded more like a construction worker. No one responded. "Damn, I was hoping to find someone with some clout to negotiate a job with, but these are just small fry," Li Bin thought. "Damn, I was hoping to find someone with some clout to negotiate a job with, but these are just small fry," Li Bin thought. "Damn, I was hoping to find someone with some clout to negotiate a job with, but these are just small fry," Li Bin thought. Listening to their voices, he figured they were barely teenagers. It made sense. Interstellar humans matured quickly physically. Although Elfie had over 1 million people, the rough factory work was done by efficient and safe machines. These newly adult kids had no physical advantage and were still immature mentally. Considered adults at home, but unable to find factory jobs, they naturally gravitated towards thuggery. Just a bunch of kids with nothing but brawn. Looking at them, Li Bin sighed, waving dismissively, "No backing? Then what are you doing here?" "Scram." Looking at them, Li Bin sighed, waving dismissively, "No backing? Then what are you doing here?" "Scram." Looking at them, Li Bin sighed, waving dismissively, "No backing? Then what are you doing here?" Scram! The thug leader felt his mind go blank. Li Bin had a point. Sailors earned well, but few could afford a commercial district hotel. He should back down. But the stall owners behind him were under his protection. His younger brother were beside him. This was his turf. He couldn't swallow Li Bin's dismissive attitude. Through strategic negotiation and fierce combat, he asserts dominance, ultimately choosing mercy and a lesson in kindness towards the misguided youth. So what if you're a ship's officer? Stab you, take your money, and run. Who's going to find us? Get him. The thug leader roared, trying to rally his underlings, raising his metal knife. Seeing this, the others, disregarding Li Bin's background, rushed forward out of loyalty. Brother! Seeing Li Bin about to be attacked, Li Changzhen reached out to push him away. But at the thug's declaration, Li Bin moved, his hands pushing forward with a series of hissing sounds. The lead thug's legs gave way, and the low gravity caused him to roll on the ground instead of falling flat. Li Bin kicked him, sending him crashing into his younger brother like a bowling ball. Turning, Li Bin raised his hands, revealing two black gun barrels attached to his wrists. He, Li Bin, had grown up in the industrial district for 8 years with memories of his past life. He knew how things worked here. Besides, when he left, his family was deep in debt. He'd even prepared for debt collectors upon his return. The thugs behind hadn't seen what happened and were shot down one by the air guns. Anyone who lunged was sidestepped, then shot twice at point-blank range in the backside. Blood splattered and screams filled the air. Turning again, Li Bin fired alternately, shooting each thug in a leg and an arm, ensuring no one could call for backup. Turning again, Li Bin fired alternately, shooting each thug in a leg and an arm, ensuring no one could call for backup. Turning again, Li Bin fired alternately, shooting each thug in a leg and an arm, ensuring no one could call for backup. The stall owners had ducked behind their stalls at Li Bin's first move. Now, only Li Bin and Li Changzhen were standing. Li Changzhen was stunned, looking at Li Bin, then at the writhing thugs. Only when the blood droplets landed did he snap back to reality. Brother, you took down a dozen men alone? His words were disjointed. Li Bin rolled up his sleeves, revealing the gun barrels connected by tubes to a pack on his lower back. Li Bin said matter-of-factly, the Human Federation's been gone for ages. Pirates, Luddite lunatics, rival companies, deep space travel's no picnic. Plenty of enemies out there. At my rank, how could I not have something for self-defense? Li Changzhen's eyes lit up at the sight of the guns. Are those lasers? Why didn't I see any light? Air guns. For shipboard use. Li Bin swatted away his brother's curious hand. This is a space station. Outside is vacuum. Use lasers and we'd all suffocate if the hull's breached. Behave, and I'll let you play with them sometime. Sarah had left in a hurry. The crew helping her move had brought everything from his dorm to the hotel, except the toilet. Li Bin did have more powerful standard issue air guns, but his permit only covered the concealed ones he was wearing. Being unemployed, he wasn't authorized to carry company-issued weapons. Li Changzhen, initially drooling over the air guns, now heard there were better ones. He immediately swallowed his excitement and declared earnestly, I'll definitely behave. You can't go back on your word, brother. Who'd go back on their word to a kid? Pack up, let's go home. Li Bin chuckled, kicking his brother lightly, sending him to pack up their stall. He then squatted beside the thug leader, reaching out. Ignoring the leader's flinch, Li Bin slapped his hand away, pulled up his shirt, and probed the wound on his stomach. Ah! The thug leader cried out in pain. The other thugs shivered, thinking how ruthless spacefarers were, not content with winning, but also torturing. Their leader was dying. They might be next. Stop whining. Just a gut shot, nothing vital hit, Li Bin said impatiently. He rummaged in his pocket and tossed a wad of crimson plastic bills on the ground. Take this to a doctor. Tough luck if it's not enough. Buy some supplements with any leftovers. Let's go, little brother. Genetic modification not only accelerated physical maturation but also enhanced self-healing abilities far beyond those of 21st century humans. A ruptured intestine, a near certain death sentence for Earth humans without treatment, was like a broken bone for interstellar humans. It would heal on its own, likely with some deformity, but rarely fatal. Under the incredulous gazes of the thugs, Li Bin and Li Changzhen calmly walked away. Li Changzhen glanced back at the thug leader scrambling for the money, whispering to Li Bin, "Brother, you won, and you're giving them money? Isn't that pointless? Besides, they don't need that much for medical treatment. Half would be enough. If sister finds out, she'll scold you for wasting money." Li Changzhen's worried expression contrasts with the thug leader's greedy demeanor, emphasizing the tension in the air and the moral dilemma at play. Li Bin patted his brother's head. "I'm being kind, all right? Picking on kids isn't impressive. These guys are young. Might be useful in the future." Li Changzhen was skeptical. "Sister says they're all trash. What use could trash be? There's an old saying, trash is treasure misplaced." Li Bin explained casually. "As for your sister, if you're afraid of her scolding, don't let her know.